Kamaru Usman versus George Masvidal. If you thought Usman versus Gilbert Burns was going to be a good fight, just imagine this one. Here's your take on Fight of the Week. Let's start off with Kamaru Usman. He's 6 feet, weighs around 170 pounds. He's a wrestler and a well-rounded fighter with a switch stance. He also has a black belt in BJJ. Right now, his UFC stats are 52% striking accuracy. He has a 60% striking defense, a 50% takedown accuracy, and a 100% takedown defense. His record stands at 16-1-0, and out of those 16 wins, he's got 7 knockouts, 1 submission, and 8 decisions. Now, the last L he took was in 2013 against Jose Caceres. It was a submission in the first round. Now, even though his last L was 7 years ago, it wasn't even in the UFC. It was in CFL, or Championship Fighting Alliance. He got choked out in the first round. But after that, he's been on a win streak, and say what you want, he hasn't lost a fight since. The last W he took, though, was in 2019 against Colby Covington. He knocked him out in the 5th round. They were going at it. 2 wrestlers throwing hands, both landing body shots and head kicks. But overall, Usman was the better fighter here. He was delivering well-placed shots to the head that eventually broke Colby's jaw and even dropped him several times. Now, let's talk about George Masvidal. He's 5'11", he weighs around 170 pounds. He's a boxer slash kickboxer with an orthodox stance. Right now, his UFC stats are 47% striking accuracy, a 66% striking defense. He has a 59% takedown accuracy and a 78% takedown defense. Right now, his record stands at 35-13-0. And out of those 35 wins, he's got 16 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 17 decisions. The last L he took was in 2017 against Stephen Thompson. It was a unanimous decision. Here, George looked like he was having trouble finding his distance in this one, especially against a fighter like Wonder Boy, who has experience in karate and taekwondo, where it's all about points, so they're trained to not be touched. So they go in and out fast. Now, the last W he took was in November 2019 against Nate Diaz. He knocked him out in the 3rd round. This was an entertaining fight. Masvidal looked confident and hungry and seemed to be enjoying himself. Early on, he started applying pressure and managed to keep his pace throughout the fight. He dropped Nate several times and kept control. Nate, on the other hand, he landed some nice shots, and even though things seemed to turn around for Nate in the 3rd round, he was still receiving more than he was giving. And even though this was a doctor stoppage, I believe George Masvidal deserved the win. Now, here's our verdict. This is going to be a very entertaining fight, especially knowing that they both have beef and they both have different fighting styles. Kamaru is a ground and pound kind of guy versus Masvidal, who's a stand-up kind of guy. Kamaru is a fighter, an athlete, versus Masvidal, who's a fighter and entertainer. I will say this though, both taking this fight in a week notice says a lot about them. For Kamaru, taking this fight in a week's notice after winning his belt is a risk. For Masvidal, it's a great payday and an opportunity for his first title fight, and he loves it. That's why I think Usman is going to test Masvidal out, probably going to take the fight to the ground, try to wear him out a bit. And Masvidal will probably take control early on in the fight, especially after losing or having to lose about 20 pounds in a week. He's going to want to do a lot of damage and take control and leave no room for Usman to come back. I'm torn, but I have to give it to my boy Masvidal in this fight. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and let's see who's right.